Right. Welcome everyone to the Empowerment Moment with Dr. G. If you're joining us on Facebook, please share with your friends. We're very super excited every twice a month. We come on here and we have conversations and we talk and we share. And, COVID 19, this pandemic has actually opened doors for us to be creative. And so I have my creative juices running. Sometimes I'm just like, okay, how else can I do something different than I've ever done? And so today we're going to have continue our conversation that we've been having about the strategies to overcoming obstacles. Guess what? This pandemic has really been a tremendous opportunity, I call it. I call it opportunity to deal with some of the challenges that we have. If you have a special needs child, or even people with neurotypical children, are really having to think of new ways of doing things and new ways of instruction. And so since the last time we connected, many of us are back to school. So we're going to have some conversations around that. I have a very special guest. She's my good friend Daniela. She's going to join us on here. And I also have Jenny, my sidekick. So there's a Jenny, and then there's a Genevieve, and then there's a Jennifer. Jennifer is my program director in Ghana. So we have this whole idea that the Jen in the world have some creativity juices running. So we're going to talk tonight. So if you're joining us on Facebook, I want to welcome you. Thank you so much for being a part of this conversation. I count myself really honored and privileged to be on this autism journey, because it's actually allowed me to be versatile and flexible in so many ways about things in life. I use this platform to really as a means to encourage others on the journey with me. I use it as a means to also just let families out there know, regardless of what circumstances you're going through, that there is a God who cares about you, and He is the source of my strength. And I'm able to deal and stand and do all things because of the Christ that's in me and strengthens me. And I want to use that as an emblem to opportunity to share that with you today. So we've been talking about obstacles, and last time we talked about 2 weeks ago when we were talking about it, we talked about hi Maquita, thank you for joining us. It's awesome to have you share this video with others. It's really, really, really important to realize that you are not alone. That whatever you're going through, it is not unique to you. Yes, we all have our unique situations, but know that you're walking this journey and there's not a simple solution. But as we go through in life, we are going to face obstacles. So last 2 weeks ago, we talked about the strategies to overcoming obstacles. And I shared a quote that I thought was really powerful, and I want to say it again. And it says, by Frank Clark. And it says, if you can find a path with no obstacles, it probably doesn't lead anywhere. If you can find a path without an obstacle. So in this COVID pandemic season, guess what? Some of us have been exposed to the virus. Some of us have been affected by the virus. Some of us are caring for people with the virus. And in that process, we've actually learned how much we don't know and how much we have to learn. And we've now learned to take it day by day. And we're learning that if you face an obstacle, know that there is strategies that you can overcome it. So we're going to talk a little bit about that today. We're also going to talk about what our experiences has been since we went back to school. When you think about the word obstacle, dictionary says it's an obstruction, right? It's a hindrance or it's an impediment, something that hinders or prevent an action or progress. It could be something that's material, immaterial. And so it's something that will prevent you from advancing. And we know that most of us as parents, we want our children to advance. And when this season, that's the biggest concern is, are they learning? Are they able to absorb? Are they able to take it? What's happening with them? So there are a number of different things that are in the way. So some people is the Wi-Fi. I never realized, Jenny, I don't know if you know this, but I never realized that there is some level of how your Wi-Fi capability coming into your house can affect the video quality. Did you know that? She says no. Did you know that? I don't know if people know this, but Thank God for my smart kids who were able to say, "Mom, the video quality is so bad." And so my poor husband went to Costco and ended up doing some kind of magic or something and bought some other tool. So now I can actually I can actually be on Zoom and not let it fall apart. So hi, Monica. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. We appreciate you being here. We're talking about obstacle strategies to overcoming obstacles, right? So I'll just show you one obstacle, even in just doing Zoom for homework, is the Wi-Fi coming to your home. As simple as that. And how annoying is it? You're in the middle, and this happened to me. So if you were ever here when we first started, that's why my video has not been cutting out anymore, Jenny. There was a time when I was doing my, empowerment moment. All of a sudden, the video just went out, and I'm like, "What the heck is happening?" One time, I actually had a little sticker thing that closes it, and it was falling down. So these are all the obstacles that can hinder one from really doing the things you need to do. But it's actually interesting. Think about how many people in the house can be on devices, and all of that is just like slowing things down, and that has an effect. So that's an obstacle. So last time we talked about obstacle could be an internal factor, which is stuff that's happening within us, things that how we feel could be it could be an impediment to our own progress, and sometimes it could be external. I just use that Wi-Fi as an example. So today we're going to focus a little bit about the external factors. And I always try to link up the practical things of what's happening in our world to also sharing some stories from the Bible. And I use that because it's almost to make the point that sometimes the things that we're going through now we think is unique to this season, but it's not necessarily so. Some element of it has happened before, and I like to share it as a tool and as a means of encouragement. So I'm going to do a little bit of that first, and then we're going to get into some of the school conversation. How about that? So there's a story that I was reading recently, and I thought it was really kind of linked into what I was talking about. What are the external factors that affect or create obstacles to achieving the things that we need to achieve? Think about what are some of the obstacles that is preventing your child from having the quality education. For some of us, there's so many of us in the home, finding a quiet place in the house is difficult. Like my husband and I had turned our main living room into an office, believe it or not, because we realized that, okay, one person was in the bedroom, another person was in the bathroom, one person was in the living room, there's TV there, and here it is that we have to work. And when we thought it was just going to be here for a few weeks, it was fine. But then we realized that we're going to have to be creative. So we're like, you know what? We have a need for the space. Let's turn it into it. We quickly discovered, however, that we both couldn't be in the same room at the same time having work conversations. Like it's like competing. So we had to get creative again. So the point here is that we sometimes have to think about ways to overcome the obstacles that come along the way. And for maybe, as I'm sharing this idea, maybe you've not thought about it, convert part of your space into an office or into a workable space that you can use. So that this way it gives you that sense of creativity. And interesting in love, now my daughter, the little one now is turning the office into her space too, because she's like, you know what? I'm sitting on my bed to do homework. My back is killing me, right? So get a good chair, sit on it, and make it as comfortable as possible. And that's really some of the tools that we want to talk about today. But sometimes in our process of giving everything we have, there may be other things that hinder our ability to really push forward. And there's this story in the Bible, and it's about this man called Nehemiah. Nehemiah was a prophet, and he was helping to build the wall around in Jerusalem. And so this is back in the old days, way old days. And he was helping his people to build this wall. While they were trying to build this wall and the people were focused on doing it, there were folks that came around to try to discourage them. And they were saying all kind of mean things, all and taunting them. And there's two, if you've ever read that story, it's in the book of Nehemiah, chapter 4, verse 1 to 21. And it's a source of encouragement because, and I like to use that story from the standpoint that sometimes in life, while you're focused on trying to do what you have to do, there may be some naysayers around you who will tell you, oh, what you're doing doesn't work. Oh, what you're doing is stupid. Oh, why would you do it that way? Oh, why do you believe that? You look at our political climate right now. for whatever reason, we can't even have a normal conversation with each other without, people may have different beliefs about what goes on. But how do we ensure that we don't pull people down in the process of expressing our opinion? Right? And sometimes people take that to the next level where now they become discouraging. And that could be a source of an obstacle. An external discouragement from family, from friends while you're trying to do what you need to do can be ways that can prevent you from achieving what you need to do. Because just when you're starting to say you're wanting to start this new business, or maybe you want to try this new therapy, or maybe you want to try this new supplement, and then somebody says, oh, that doesn't work. No, there's no information, there's no data for it. Oh, it's no good. Maybe you want to try something completely new. People who are sitting on the side and don't have a full understanding of what you're going through can sometimes discourage you. And in this story, this guy was like, you know what? We're just going to ignore you. And to the point where that while they're trying to build the wall, they divided themselves into two groups. One set of groups will focus on building, while the other sets will just kind of stand around and make sure that people did not hinder them physically. So the point here is that sometimes you're going to have to be very intentional and creative in blocking out those voices that are trying to discourage us. That is a source of discouragement, and could be a source of an obstacle. So I'm here to tell us and encourage us that whatever you are facing or dealing with in this season, make sure, if there are naysayers or there are people who are speaking negative, who are saying things like, oh, something doesn't work, block them out. If you've been listening to me for a couple of months now, I think that's one of my favorite refrains. You got to keep your focus, and you have to make sure that you're connecting with people who will encourage you. So I've been sharing a little bit, and I want, there's a couple of points that I want to raise, as I talked about that last month, and some of the strategies you can use to deal with obstacles. One of the obstacles some of us with special needs children have is they're telling us to do remote learning through video. We did a little bit of it in the spring. It wasn't that great, but now all of a sudden the thought you got to do it all the whole year, or even for the semester. I'm just like, how are you supposed to do that? Right? So there's some things that I had to do, and I've been sharing that, including saying, okay, what I had to leverage connecting to social services, connecting to school, connecting to my school district, my case manager. I can't tell you how many programs how many different people that I have been working with who are helping me to achieve what I need to achieve for this season for Nicholas. It is a lot. Like, I'm today alone in the morning, even before I started my day at work, I had to have a meeting with the school district, and we're working on stuff like that. And then later on this afternoon, I'm now saying, okay, you know what? I got to talk to the case management to be able to kind of do the work that we need to do. So each step of the way, there is something that we have to do to make sure that Nicholas gets what he gets. And I got to tell you, I am moving one step closer to where I needed to be. Right now, at least the district and I are talking. I had the director of student services on the phone with me. I actually got the guy's cell phone number, Jenny. He was trying to call and use the school district number, and he couldn't connect somebody. So he goes, oh, well, let me use my cell phone. So he used his cell phone number. Well, this chick over here caught his cell phone number. So
I'm not surprised.
I was like, oh, that's a good one. So now I have the person who gets to make decisions. So by the time I was done, so now I said to him, I need you guys to pay for somebody to come into my house and teach my child. They're going to do it. They're going to hire someone to come in and teach Nicholas during the day so that I could go to work, so that other people, and that my argument is, well, guess what? You're supposed to provide education. You're supposed to allow Nicholas to learn. How do we do that? And I intentionally decided to wait until we can have a meeting to have conversations. So this week I had a meeting with the school district, the school itself, the district, and now today I was on the phone with the director of student services. And by the time I was done with him, he's like, okay, we're going to get an agency. Jenny, can you believe it? They're going to hire an agency send someone to my home, have that person be the one to do the instruction that the school provides to them so that he can do it. Now, and I said, in the meanwhile, he's been out of school for 2 weeks, by the way. And while I was doing that, I said, you know what? I want us to all come to a conclusion of what would be the best placement for him. And it's worked. It's worked because we were diligent, we took time, and we took steps that will make sure we got there. And I kept my focus because I had teachers saying, when is he going to come? What are you doing? And I'm just like, you know what? I'm going to keep my focus. And that's how I've done it. Now, it's not 100% because they've promised they're going to hire somebody, but it hasn't happened yet. But in the meanwhile, we take it one day at a time, one step at a time, because the goal is that what is the best placement? If it's part of his education entitlement. So if it's part of his education entitlement, that's their responsibility. But we all have to come together and say, what's the best thing to do? Rather than just saying, well, we'll figure a way out. How am I going to do that exactly? You guys are the teachers. You guys are the administrators. I'm the parent. Let's all talk about it. So now, mind you, he is going to go. I agree that he should go to school a couple of days a week. So their school is opening for part of the time. So part, he'll go in, and the other part, and it'll be a full day, by the way. And then the other days, they will be in the home. Yes, I had to get he won't mask. So the people who are going to come in, we're going to have our own little protocol at home, like the same way that school have protocols, we'll have protocol at home. So this way we can kind of create the environment for him to learn. So I just wanted to share that to say that, you know, there was an obstacle in starting the school year. I decided that, you know what, we're going to have to use creativity and think outside of the box and, you know, have conversations with people and say, well, what is he entitled to? Like every other child, you know, how are we going to provide a resource to him? We know that he can't sit behind a computer like that. What could you provide for him so he could get the schooling that he needs? And this is how we came on it. So I hope this, you know, what I'm sharing is kind of giving you insight that if you press in and you push hard and you get creative, sometimes they won't be ideal, but at least you'll get some strategies to take with you. So on that note, I'm going to pause here because I actually have some thoughts on some of the strategies we can use to overcome obstacles. But I want to pause here and allow other people to also say something. So Ade, I'm going to bring you in, Aderonke, and Daniela, if she's there. I want to hear how schooling is going for you guys. What are you guys doing? And then maybe Jenny, you can also do your poll. I know that we have that.
Hi, Dr. G. Daniela.
Daniela.
Okay.
So tell us, how's school going?
So how is school going?
Fine.
It's fine? Do you like it? Oh, you like it. Wow.
Really, you like it?
Wow. She likes it. So the teacher is doing a great job. Who's the teacher?
Yeah.
Miss Garrison. Oh, wow. Okay, so does mommy help you with Miss Garrison's work? Yeah. Oh, really? Yes. We thank God for mommy, because mommy is the one that's doing all the work. I'll help you.
Exactly. Give me the remote.
So how's it going with Daniel?
So it's a lot. I would say the first 2 days when we started, it was very challenging because I have to they started at different times for the first day, so it lasted for only 1 hour.
Wow.
But after the Labor Day holiday, which is on Tuesday, it was very crazy. So they started at 8:45. I had Daniela at on the same table actually, because I was thinking, oh, I could manage both of them together, but that didn't work. So I had to separate them. Wow. And I was moving from one area to the other.
Wow.
So I couldn't give Daniela a headphone because I really want to hear what the teacher is teaching so that I can help her out. So
Right.
she's not, since it's her first time in kindergarten, so she has no idea what is going on. So I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna sit there and listen to instructions so that we can do it together. So with Daniel as well, you have to be there. So my husband is either with Daniel and with the baby. Honestly, I was, for the first 2 days, it was very, very challenging, like very challenging. I thought then I need to call the school district to know what we're gonna do, because it's not funny. So if I have more than two, how do I cope with them? So luckily, the teacher, I think the school district suggested that um, if I want Daniel to come to school, he should come in for 1 hour every day so
Okay.
that they can work on his goals.
Okay. Okay. Awesome.
Then we started going for 1 hour. We chose a time, and we drop him off. I will stay behind for 1 hour and bring him back home. So they're going back fully on. He is going back fully on Monday.
Awesome.
Half a day, 8:45 to 1:10 p.m. Monday to Thursday.
Okay.
So, but it's only for SPED, and there are only 4 in this classroom.
Okay. Okay.
So far, that's the update.
Well, but that's great. So what I hear you say is you tried it and realized how incredibly crazy it is to
Yes.
try to teach two people at the same time with two different curriculum. And you said, let me do something about it. And you picked up the phone and called the district, right?
Yeah, I didn't call. I didn't bother to call because I've been communicating with the teacher, like what is going to happen with its goals, if it's home, how is he supposed to achieve all those goals if he's home?
Right.
So
So you were
I,
communicating. So you were communicating with the school.
yes, with the teacher,
Okay.
especially with the teacher.
Okay.
So she was the, I don't know, probably they had a meeting, and she said if I can bring him in 1 hour for from Monday to Thursday, so they can work on their goals. Then they will have a group session in the morning.
Got it.
So
Got it.
that's what we've been doing for the past 1 week.
Wow. So, well,
More than 2 weeks.
and it seems like how is Daniel tolerating going back to school?
Well, I would say with the morning meeting, um, he's doing okay with it,
Okay.
but I still feel like it's better if, you still have to redirect him a lot of times. So it's not like it's in the classroom setting where the teacher, where they try to do, where he's more engaged in the classroom setting. So it's quite different from home.
Right.
But going back to school for 1 hour, I think he likes it.
Okay, good. So at least you got something out of it.
Yes.
Wow. Well, thank you for sharing that. So for families that are listening, what they did here was basically say, I'm gonna communicate with the school. Let's try something out, and now we're able to get Daniel to be in school even for part of the time. And I know that there was a balance between health and safety, right? So how did you make that decision that it is worth it to just go in, not, concerned about COVID being in school? How did you make that decision?
Well, I'll say it's actually very, very tough to allow him go back to school. But for him, in person, he's been home since March. So he's losing, I would say to me, he's regressing. But I just feel like, well, if he can go for 1 hour, with a mask on, and I the last time we visited, I noticed a lot of, like, majority of the teachers, they have their mask on. So I feel like, well, with that, so everyone is taking precautions for, to avoid like COVID.
Right.
So, and I also checked with the teacher how many kids will be in there for in person,
Right.
and how they're going to manage the situation. So
That's good. Well, I mean, it's interesting because a lot of us were on that same fence of saying, I'm not sure I want my kid to go back. But then you realize that they are in the house 24/7.
7.
And it's like a little overwhelming. And what do you do in that situation? So you have to do something. And because you're in this a little longer, it becomes necessary for that. I love what you shared because it almost mirrors my story, which said, okay, I need to be able to get him something. We are wanting to bring him back part of the time, and the other part of it, we need somebody to work with him. So that's crucial because I am out of the house, so I'm not even in the house to teach or to do that instruction. And some jobs you're on the phone the whole time or meetings, so it's not like you can now stop and say, okay, I'm going to do those activities. So
Mhm.
thank you for sharing that. Jenny, what have you been up to, and what's yours?
Yeah, I mean, so it's interesting. I don't know. Okay, Daniela's in kindergarten.
Yes.
Sorry?
Daniela's in kindergarten.
Daniela, yes, she's in
So
kindergarten.
so is my son, and it's been interesting. I mean, I even we had a back to school night a couple nights ago, and it was but like they should have back to school night with the parents because I'm the one who really knows what he's doing at home. Things are getting a little better now. They had pickup yesterday. We picked up packets and workbooks, but it's difficult. I mean, it's mostly, okay, you have to sit down, you have to sit down, you have to sit down, and then they break out a lot. His teacher's been really understanding. I mean, very understanding. She says multiple times, like, log in and out as many times as you need, or turn your camera off and mute yourself. But that's one of the hardest things. And I understand what you were saying, Aderonke, about the headphones. My son doesn't wear headphones because he still can't even unmute himself. So when she calls his name, I got to help him unmute himself. And I want to hear also what she's saying. So then, we're all, you don't even really feel like you can be doing all that much while school is on, but I don't want to be on top of him. It's tricky. Luckily for him, his is all half days. And she has been giving good breaks. They have gym class, which, gets them a little active. They do like scavenger hunts around the house. But, I'm looking forward to, my district was supposed to do the hybrid option, and supposedly come October 1st, they're going to be going back to the hybrid option. So I do think that will make some sort of change, because still right now it's very much a lot of muting, unmuting, screen sharing. We can't see you, we can see you. We're not really learning all that much right now. So it's interesting, that's for sure.
So what kind of conversations or chatter have you been seeing on social media in terms of how other people are feeling about this?
I have seen, we have this big support group on Facebook for my town, and I feel for you moms with multiple kids at home doing this. I mean, I don't know how, if I had a few, or even two, like the two of mine, if they were both in school. One mom was saying that, their schedules are so different, and the one of her sons is older, so he's in 3rd grade and they're reading, and the other one's in kindergarten, and we're not really doing anything right now, so it's very difficult. And then there's little ones at home who aren't doing anything, who want to be involved. So the one thing that I will say is everybody is, at least that I've seen, is so supportive of each other. And just recently there was a lot going around in my town about where you can find whiteboards on Amazon, and people were even like splitting the cost of them so they could, share. They bought like a pack of 20. Another thing, like I said, my district just did pickup day, but they did it at an awful time. It was yesterday from 9 to 1. So also while the kids are logged into school. So many parents were like, well, just send me your address and your kid's name. I can pick up the packet and drop it off at your front door. People who don't even know each other. So, it really truly is one of those things, like everybody is in the same boat. We all are in this together,
It's an incredible time.
Mhm.
And like you said, so we identify the parents that have multiple kids who are different ages, who have different schedules. That's a challenge. Where do you even do this? How many devices do you have?
Right.
I don't know about you, but my electricity bill just almost doubled.
I bet.
Because you realize that you have all these lights on, all these devices on, and all these things that are ongoing, and then so you got to think about parents who don't have these tools, people who can afford it. that's just a piece of that kind of draws our heart. And, for me and my goal, that's really one of the things that we care about is how do we continue to support our families? So we would love to hear from you. If you're you have special needs and, your challenge, please, send us an email. You can either send it to info@mygoalautism.org, info@mygoalautism.org. It will hit both Jenny and I at the same time. We'll both get it. So at least we'll be able to say, okay, you know what, some of the things that we are. Hi, Kenzia, for joining us on Facebook. Um, so we definitely, are encouraging you to share some of the ideas that you have. What are some of the strategies that you're using to overcome in this season? I think that most people would love to hear we're all in it together. I gotta tell you, if you're a special needs parent, please have a modified IEP meeting. Call for it. Have conversations about it, because it is important to document what are some of the issues that you're having now and have it documented somewhere. So this way, when things come back to normalcy, quote unquote, and you need more resources, they're going to be more understanding because you've been talking about it throughout. That's what I did just said. That's what I'm saying also. So please don't think that you're just going to just accept what is being offered to you at face value, because for all you know, there are other ideas. And they say the squeakiest wheel gets the grease, right? If you make more noise, you're more likely to get the tools that you need. It's not more noise to say I'm begging, but it's to say I'm struggling, I'm having a hard time. And it's hard enough to provide care for the individual when school's out, but now you have to do it all the time. So it's very, very crucial that you come to these type of conversations. Want to remind you that we're here for you. Reach out to us, and however way we can support you, we'd love to. And once again, my vision has always been, how do we overcome some of the obstacles associated with this autism journey? Not just autism, but individuals that are going through the different stages of life and the challenges that they're dealing with. And the goal here and the point here is that you are not alone. You are not alone. And if you're finding yourself overwhelmed, you're finding yourself just feeling like you can't handle it, please reach out to us. We can direct you to resources that can help you. mygoalautism.org, info@mygoalautism.org. Our job and our mission is to support families on the autism journey and other families who have children with other intellectual or developmental disabilities. Because at the end of the day, there is no one quick answer, and together we can figure it out together. I want to just encourage you with this. Hi, Donnell. Thank you for joining us on Facebook. We appreciate you joining us. Share the video even as we were done, because it's just the basics that we're just sharing here, which are some of the things that we're all going through together. Because what it does is that it helps other people realize that whatever they're walking through, there are others that can support them and encourage them. And last time when I shared some of the key things we should do to deal with obstacles, we talked a little bit about that. So I'm probably going to do the next time we share again, I'm going to go a little bit more and talk about some of the options you can look. But one thing that I would want you to think about from today, I take away is list all the different scenarios or different strategies you can use. List all the different options you can consider in providing care for your loved one if you face obstacles. In other words, to think outside of the box. That's my favorite thing. If you ever hear me talk about it, I like to think outside of the box. What is something different, something unique? Call people, ask people questions. Hey, what is so and so? Have you ever encountered this before? What can we consider? So I want to say to you, think outside the box when you face challenges. So I hope this has been encouraging to you somehow. I know we were going to pull out our questions, but we'll probably save it for the next time, because I think we'll get more people. A number of our families have gone back to school tonight, back to school night. I don't know how you do back to school night, Jenny. I know you shared it, but I'm just like, okay, what's the, okay.
What was the point? I don't know. I don't know. But... yeah.
Okay. All right. So yes, I'm trying to be very, very good about this. Yes. The key here is trying to be very good.
Yeah.
So the point is that I know the teachers are all trying, and to me it's like it may be a little early for back to school, to be honest with you. Things just started. It's so fluid. What are we
Yeah,
gonna talk?
we weren't even. We're just a week yesterday, and
Oh
we have
yeah,
back to school night on Tuesday, so we weren't
yeah,
even a full week in. Yeah.
yeah. So what's there to be back to school about? So to
Yeah.
me, it makes sense to move it to October when we've now had a full month where we can say these are what are things that are going on, and then we can kind of see from there. But anything sooner than that. So I mean, personally, I was just saying to the school, we all want to think about these things together. So families, reach out to your teachers. I think teachers are also accommodating, and my heart goes out to the teachers right now. I really, 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 I have a team of people that pray with me, and the other day we were just praying for teachers because I mean, a whole subset of them have retired. Did you know that? Like the older teachers are retiring. Why? Because the demand of and is computers and trying is so hard. So our heart goes out to teachers. If you're a teacher and you're listening to me, I just want to just applaud you and just thank you for all your hard work because we know that it's not easy. You guys want to do it, but and parents who are teachers, you guys are the best, I included, but more or less, thankfully, my daughter, the younger one, is self-taught. So I'm like, keep doing what you're doing, girl. You want to hear the funniest story? She probably will laugh at me for saying, or get mad at me for saying this. The poor child overslept. So, so when you oversleep and you don't go to school, how does that work? You go call the. So
Yeah.
okay.
What did you do? Did you have to call?
Um. Well, you're supposed to call. So she called me too because I was at home. So she called me to tell me, Mom, I overslept. So I'm like, because normally you would have left the house before, school
Right.
starts
Right.
at
Yeah.
9. So it's a different world, man, Jen. It's a different world.
Oh.
So yeah, it's, they're all figuring it out. The key thing is that, you know what, she has a good attitude about it. But as I was saying, my heart goes out to all teachers. So Ade, the wrong care, God bless you for all the hard work you're doing. Pat and everybody else that's out there. Lisa, I know you're not on tonight, but I know that it's not been an easy week, I heard. So
Yeah.
I just want to just acknowledge you and all the teachers, parents out there. Keep just take it one day at a time. We love you. From on behalf of my goal, I just want to just call for a special blessing to all of you. I pray that your family is safe. I pray that in this season, COVID-19 is even come near you. You'll be protected. You'll be washed over. No harm will come near you or your children. And I want to encourage you to have peace of mind. And in due season, everything will work itself out. So on that note, I want to say thank you to my special guest, Daniela. I am so proud of you for joining us tonight. You are awesome. And also, of course, Daniel. Yes, that's my Daniel. Daniel is my A-star. Love that boy. Look at him. Yes, please let him get on the video. Hi, Daniel. So these are
Hi.
the
Say hi.
yeah. Hi.
Okay. You know her. I know you know her.
Yeah, I know. It's like these days we don't get to hug. Oh my gosh, I miss hugging. I miss hugging people. This whole elbow thing is not the same. The worst is when you now are meeting people and you have to shake hands and you stretch your hand and you're like, oh no, oops, sorry. Can you imagine? So anyway, thank you also for so much for joining. God bless you. May the Lord keep you. May He cause His face to shine upon you in every way. Wherever you go, you're blessed. You're going, you're blessed. You're coming, you're blessed. And everything that you do will prosper. In the blessed name of Jesus, I pray. Amen. 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 Thank you so much for joining us on Empowerment Moment with Dr. G. Tonight we were talking about strategies to overcoming obstacles. We talked a bit about despite COVID, the new going back to school, all the changes that we've endured, and we were able to have our special guest, Aderanke, and her family share a little bit about what's happening. So thank you again, and have a wonderful night. We'll be back in 2 weeks. Bye-bye. Good night.
Thank you. Oh my God.